Welcome to Marlene at Home, and I'm Marlene from the Carroll County Public Library. I am the Adult Services Supervisor at the North Carroll branch, and we have talked about April showers, we've talked about May flowers, and we've had Mother's Day, and it's still a little chilly, but we need to think about decorating for Decoration Day, also called Memorial Day. Come inside and let's talk further. When we think of Memorial Day, we often think about picnics. And I've kind of started to set up in the back, outside, if it's warm enough that day, and just have some flags, some red and white tablecloth. I've also decorated for inside. I've set this table up for my grandchildren, and they will all be here for Memorial Day weekend. And so anyway, you can see here more sturdy decorations, wooden candle holders. I have wooden old country decorations in the window that little hands can pick up, take apart. They're just blocks of wood, and they're in there. Extra silverware and napkins, paper plates, just some, this is more country, red, white, and blue. I thought it was interesting that on my wall I have part of America the Beautiful, God shed his grace on thee. That's something there all year, but it works for decorating at this time of year. Found a 1776 flag. I haven't found where I'm going to put it yet. But anyway, just some decorations for grandchildren. Memorial Day is really, it was originally called Decoration Day. And it's a federal holiday. And what sets Decoration Day or Memorial Day apart is, and I want to read this quote, "It's honoring and mourning personnel who have died in the performance of their military duties while serving in the United States Armed Forces." Sometimes people confuse Veterans Day, that honors our veterans, versus Memorial Day or Decoration Day, that honors those that died in the line of service for their country. And so the way our country celebrates it is by observing it by visiting cemeteries and displaying flags on fallen soldiers' graves and flowers. Also, a tradition that started after World War I is people wearing a red poppy that was in remembrance of those that had fallen. And it became a tradition after World War I. The Civil War ended in the spring of 1865. It claimed more lives than any other U.S. conflict, and it required the establishment for the first time of the country's national cemeteries, because the number of dead was so massive, and to move them from time to time from where they passed away to their hometowns would have been nearly impossible. And so that was the beginning of national cemeteries. I'm joined now by Cooper. I don't know for how long, but you see he's all decorated for Decoration Day in his red and white bow tie, and so we'll see how he holds up. You might want to think about getting a book to share with your visitors if you're having company on Memorial Day, a picnic. This one's something I had at home, a little golden book on holidays. There's plenty at the library for children and for adults. You can get recipe books for special picnic ideas and food ideas, decorating ideas, all those kinds of things, the history of our country. So I recommend that you check your library out. Or you might want some background patriotic music, or look for a patriotic movie. You know, picnic's over, everybody's just hanging out in the evening. So anyway, you might want to think about that. You know, in the late 1860s, the small towns and cities after the Civil War ended in the springtime, and these little towns and cities just started in the spring having celebrations, not celebrations, but remembrances of those whose lives were lost during the Civil War. And they did a lot of meeting at cemeteries, special grave sites, also national monuments to honor those that were lost in the Civil War. A lot of decorating of graves and flowers and gathering for prayer. After World War I, though, the name of Decoration Day was changed to Memorial Day to honor all servicemen killed in the line of duty. And since then, there have been parades are a way that we observe the holiday. Also, veterans organizations are very involved on that day. It used to be originally that Decoration Day was always on May 30th, but in 1971 it was changed to the fourth Monday in May. And so it has been there on that date ever since. Well, it looks like Cooper kind of stayed along. I thought I'd bring you in here because this is our red, white, and blue room. So we have navy blue chairs, red sofa. I have some Americana around the room. There's a sampler that you can't see, but a sampler on the wall, red, white, and blue replica of an old sampler. A prayer, bless this house, O Lord, we pray, keep it safe by night and day. Kind of a replica of a Revolutionary War era. But anyway, this is our red, white, and blue room, so I thought we should at least spend a little time here. Okay, here we are in my dining room. Just a couple quick things that I did here. Brought out some navy placemats. Have an old red country tablecloth, kind of Pennsylvania Dutch kind of style. All of these have been gifts from my friend Kathy that over the years has supplied me with so many things. You know, it's funny, I wanted to put some napkins out. I have very few because, well, we didn't celebrate for last year, and I did find a few in the cabinet, but I only have 3, so just pretend that there's one here. But maybe adults, you know, want to sit in here, the children are out there. If you're not outside, if it's rainy, or later in the evening, you want to eat leftovers, you could have a colorful fruit salad here, or potato salad, or a floating red candle there in the middle. So a number of different things you could do. These are my famous dollar store goblets. You could use, I just pulled out my Fostoria, by the way, it's the Americana pattern. But anyway, you could do that. You could put a paper plate on top of it. I also brought my red chargers up that I put at Christmas time. But you know, you could put a red charger on here and a paper plate, you know, or a glass plate. Sometimes paper plates start to get soggy, and so you like to use some different things. In this corner, in my my little tea cart here, I just used platters, some candles, some dishware, some things like that, just to give it a little touch. I put my tureen over on this side of the room that I serve soup in the summer, in the winter. But in the summer, I could fill it with ice or salads, or you know, all kinds of things, baked beans, that kind of thing. And then all the way over here in the corner is something my youngest daughter made for me many years ago in honor of my dad. And he was in World War II, and there some of the awards he won. He was on D-Day on one of the Normandy beaches, one of the first group of men to arrive after the paratroopers. And so anyway, he was in the D-Day battle at Normandy. He was in the Battle of the Rhine, most of the major engagements as an infantryman, so in the transportation company. So anyway, just some things to see. Here's some new things I was given recently. Some more things from what we call the Kathy bag, or the Kathy boxes, from my dear friend who passed away that was my neighbor as a child. And in her last year or two, she had these across her mantle, and I admired them. And when her children invited me and my family to Kathy's house to choose items we wanted, they said, Marlene, why don't you take these? And I was like, no, I don't think so. On the way out the door, though, Kathy's oldest daughter said to me, are you sure? And I just looked up there. They were just where Kathy had put them, and she had all these lace doilies under them and all kinds of things. And I said, I can't leave them. I'll take them. I know she'd want me to have them. And so this is a series of figurines. They're called Oh Say Can You See? And it's Freedoms of Fashion. And it shows American women, how they dressed in different eras of history, of American history. And so you can kind of see how the time periods advanced and changed. and this is more like World War I, and then just a whole gamut of like Revolutionary War times. And so anyway, just some fun things that I've just gotten and used for the first time this year from my Kathy bag, and I'm really thankful for it. I want to thank you for joining me at Marlene at Home again. You've been so kind to follow along, and I appreciate those that I hear from and the comments. I hope you and your family will have a great Decoration Day or Memorial Day, whatever you choose to call it. And I just thank you for joining me, and I welcome you again next week.